Hello everyone and welcome to another video. Thank you so much to everyone who sent such kind birthday wishes last week. I really appreciate it. And for this week's video, I want to chat with you about what's been inspiring me specifically around knitting and knitwear for fall, and also what I plan to knit in the coming months. So first up, I thought I would just mention kind of the general color palette. These are colors that I have been drawn to wearing, and I've been really inspired when I've seen knitted garments and accessories in these colors. So the general color palette is going to be brown, blue, red, and kind of a combination of cream and a creamy yellow. I think all of those colors work well together. So I do quickly want to mention two finished objects that obviously are not in my knitting plans, but that I plan to wear a lot this fall that I have knit. So the first one I am wearing today, this lovely chocolate brown sweater, is the Earth Pullover by Ozetta. And I knit this sweater with Cascade BFL wool. I made the size small, and yeah, I didn't do a ton of modifications. I did make a couple of changes, like the Earth Pullover has twisted rib at the neck and cuffs and hem, and I just did a 1x1 rib because I prefer knitting a 1x1 rib to a twisted rib. And then I also sized down on the needles quite a bit, I believe, for different parts. So the body I used a 7, the cuffs and hem I used a 6, and the collar neckband I did a 5. And I just personally prefer when the rib sections are a little bit tighter and smaller. I think it helps them kind of hold their shape better. So yes, I will also try to put some pictures of me wearing it so you get a better look at the sweater, but it's a really classic drop shoulder design. It has a folded and sewn down collar, and then just, as I said, I did 1x1 rib for the cuffs and the hem. I've really been loving all of the chocolate brown that I've been seeing kind of, online and Pinterest and Instagram, that sort of stuff. What's going on the high street, fashion-wise as well. There's a lot of brown, usually is in fall. And yeah, I really love this sweater. It's a classic. I'm gonna wear it a ton. And I really like the wool. This is the first time that I've used Cascade BFL, and it definitely got softer after blocking it. So I'm really pleased with the fabric it created. And I actually have one other project that I'm almost done with where I'm using the same wool. And that's what is it called? It's called the Sunday Morning Wrap, I believe. And it's a free pattern. I can put a link below. But basically it's just a big trapezoid, I think. And let's see. So you won't be able to see this very well. I'll try to take a picture because I'm in the middle of a row. I can't really hold it out and show you, but it has sections of stockinette, and then it has sections of a twisted rib, actually. So yeah, I'll put some pictures up. I may honestly finish this by the time this video goes live. So if I have finished it, I will put images here of the finished shawl scarf. But yes, very pleased with this wool, loving the chocolate brown color. And I also quickly wanted to mention my petite knit October sweater. I have shared this before, but I'll go ahead and put a picture up here too, because it's another one I'm going to be wearing a lot this fall. So it will kind of give you it'll give you an idea of what I'm going to be pairing a lot of the other things that I plan to knit with, either this brown crew neck or this navy blue October sweater. The October sweater I knit, let me check here. I used Knit Picks yarn, both their palette and their gloss lace in the color navy. I held those two together, and I also knit a size small. So another really classic basic piece that's going to get a ton of wear, and having a dark navy blue crew neck and also a brown, I feel like I'm kind of sorted for my fall crew neck sweater needs and into winter too. Okay, so those are my two recently finished sweater projects, and the brown shawl wrap that I have in progress. I also have a pair of socks in progress, and if you watched my other videos, I mentioned these a long time ago. They're still in progress, but I have a solution for that, I think. So this is a basic sock pattern from Summerlee's sock book. It's called the Sock Project, and I'm at the same spot that I was the last time I mentioned this project, where I've basically done like the ribbing at the top and then enough of the sock to the point where now I need to do the heel. And what made me pause on this project and set it down was the fact that they ask you to use double pointed needles for the heel and to keep some of the stitches on this tiny little circular. And it felt really fiddly and I didn't want to do it. This is my first sock and I got the tiny circular needle. It's very short, and the idea of using double pointed needles as well, I don't know. I didn't want to mess with it. I'm not a huge fan of double pointed needles. So in an effort to finish this pair of socks, and I also have another pair that I would love to make, even though this is my first project and I haven't finished it. What I hope is the solution is that I got a longer cable circular needle. It's the same size. It's a 2.25 millimeter. And this one I think is like 40 inches. So my hope is that this makes finishing this pair of socks easier. But I'm also hoping that in the future I could try the technique where you have like basically where you knit two at once using a really long cable. So I'm gonna try putting this sock on the longer cable, and hopefully that will make it easier for me to finish this project. And you know, if not, I can try the double pointed needle technique, but I think this will work. So I have a longer needle. I'm determined to finish my red socks. I love a pop of red, especially with brown. I mean, look at how nice that looks together. So yes, I plan to finish the sock project, the book and my sock project. And then I also have some yellow yarn that I want to turn into socks. I think yellow and red both work super well with blue and brown. So as I said, that's kind of my general color palette. This is actually showing up a little more orange on the camera, but it's a true kind of gold yellow. I believe the color is Poppy Field Tonal, and the yarn is Knit Pick Stroll Effects. And this is 75% merino wool, superwash merino, and 25% nylon, so perfect for socks. I'm hoping that putting my sock project on the longer cable makes it a breeze to finish the red socks, and I want to make yellow socks as well. So now we're going to get into projects that I have not yet begun, but that I'm really feeling inspired to make, and I'm just going to jump in. So I'm assuming a lot of you guys also follow Andrea Mowry and probably have made one of her patterns. And she recently shared in her most recent podcast video her new pattern, the Jaunty Shawl, which is a half fisherman's rib shawl that's kind of designed to use any weight of yarn and has different amounts of yarn. So you can kind of use up whatever yarn that you have that you want to make the shawl with. And in the video, she is wearing one of the samples that she made in this lovely, like kind of icy sky blue color. It was one of those instances when I saw the shawl and then I heard her talking about it and kind of showing the features where I knew immediately I want to make exactly that. I want to make this pattern and I want to use that specific yarn, that specific color. And that's pretty rare for me. I typically don't use the suggested yarn or the yarn that the pattern designer has used to make their samples. I typically find like a more affordable option, something that is compatible with the gauge and things like that. But in this instance, I thought I want to make that exact thing. So the yarn that she used is from the Wandering Flock, which I have never purchased from before, and it's called Fluff, and it's 35% baby Surrey alpaca, 15% wool and then 50% Pima cotton. And all of the reviews on Ravelry say that this yarn is super soft and airy, and it's perfect for next to skin, which you would want, you know, for a scarf or a shawl. I really thought about it for a long time. I went back and forth in my head for a long time thinking like I can find a more affordable alternative. This yarn it's like $24 a skein, and her sample, she used 4 skeins. So it's about $100 to make the exact shawl that she made with the yarn that she used. And yeah, I really went back and forth, and I thought, no, I can definitely find something that's more affordable, blah, blah, blah. But it was my birthday, and I did have some birthday funds to, you know, kind of encourage me to make the more expensive choice. So I did end up ordering the light blue color of the Wandering Flock fluff, and I'm hoping I will have received it before this video goes out. So hopefully I can insert a clip here of me getting the yarn and hopefully saying how wonderfully soft it is. But I am very excited, and I don't often buy the expensive yarn, so it's kind of a little birthday treat to myself. It's my favorite sort of light sky blue shade, and the fact that this pattern is in half fisherman's rib is a little bit intimidating, but in her podcast that I mentioned, she says that when you're knitting, and I hope I'm saying this correctly because I've never done half fisherman's rib before, but I think that what she said was when you're doing it flat, as opposed to like in the round on a sweater, when you're knitting flat back and forth, that one of the rows is just knitting, and that the other one you would do like an alternate between knitting a stitch below and purling. I think that's what I'm going to be getting into. As I said, I don't know yet. I've never done this stitch pattern or whatever, but I have the pattern. I've ordered the yarn. I'm very excited. I hope it's as luxurious as all of the reviews say that it is, and it looked truly stunning on camera, so I'm hopeful. And that is my first major project for this fall after I have a couple of whips to wrap up. I also have another project that I want to complete in the next couple of months that is part inspiration and part I have some sweaters that I have made that I want to unravel. And I've done that once before, but I didn't know at the time that you need to like wash it. So I knit with the crinkly yarn and it's fine. I'm still wearing the sweater that I made, but the tension is a little weird. It looks a little bumpy, and I've since learned that when you unravel a sweater, you need to wash the yarn before you knit with it again. So I have 2 sweaters. And these are both knit in Knit Picks Wool of the Andes. These were some of my first hand knit sweaters. So again, I got the cheap yarn, but it's actually fine. It's quite soft and it's not itchy, and for an affordable kind of like workhorse 100% worsted weight yarn, totally fine. I would definitely recommend it to anyone that wants a more affordable option for yarn. And there's a lot of colors too. So I have this light blue, and then I think this was like Dove Heather, maybe. It's kind of a heathered neutral taupey gray. And I believe actually these are the same pattern. So I made it and I thought, wow, I made a sweater. I want to make it again. And I did it again in another color. I think this one may have been the first one. And I can try to I'll put some pictures. I'll try them on and I'll show you a little clip. It's a little bit ridiculous. The fit, the sleeves are huge and like way too big and way too long. I didn't do a great job at the kind of collar neck area. So I want to reuse this wool, and I don't know if I mentioned, I think this is the Towns sweater. I think I'll put it on screen if I'm incorrect. A pattern by Ozetta. And my sweaters don't look as they should. I mean, this is a sleeve. Can you see? Incredibly huge, just like really wide, really, really long. I'm not sure what I was doing, but I have these two colors that work really well together actually, and I've been seeing a lot of people making the Olga sweater and jacket. The jacket is basically a button-up cardigan version of the sweater, and it's striped, and I think these would look really nice together. I really like kind of a muted stripe, so not as high contrast of a stripe. I'm really enjoying that, and I'm seeing a lot of that this fall. So I think this will be an Olga jacket. It's a worsted weight, so this would be perfect. And I definitely have enough to make one sweater out of two, so there's probably going to be some leftovers that maybe I could make like a matching hat or something to go with. But yes, I think this is going to be an Olga jacket. And I actually don't have a lot of stripes in my handmade or hand knit wardrobe. So I think it would be good to have a striped cardigan. I think it would be a lot of fun to pair it with other things. So speaking of stripes, I actually recently saw an Instagram story of Hetty, who is the designer behind the Modern Sewing Company, who I love their sewing patterns and I've made many of them. She posted a story where she was wearing an outfit that was her patterns, and she had this scarf on, this little like triangle scarf that was kind of an off, like a similar neutral to this actually as the base, but it was thin, I would say like fingering weight wool, and it had these really thin little red stripes. So I did some searching around, and I think I found the scarf that she was wearing. As I said, it was a story and I didn't screenshot it, so I can't share it with you, but I think I found the one because it's like an indie brand, and I think they're based in the UK, and it's called the Jenny Triangle Scarf, and I think I can recreate it. They actually don't ship to the United States, otherwise I probably would purchase it because it's kind of a small brand and it wasn't super expensive. So the pattern that I was thinking of using is actually a free pattern from Pearl Soho that I've made before, and it's called the Soiree Scarf, compatible with fingering weight yarn. And I think I would use Cascade 220 fingering just because I could get a lot of different colors, and the exact colors that I would use to recreate the Jenny Triangle Scarf would probably be like their neutral beige color and then their Christmas red. And it would be really easy to do the skinny stripe pattern on the Soiree scarf. So I'm very tempted. The Cascade 220, it's like $6 a skein, and I would only need one of each color. So a really affordable project, but one that I really love the look of a little triangle scarf, and something about the neutral beige color with the pop of red stripes. I think I'm going to have to try and recreate. I also think it would be fun to make a red hat. I have made many hats, but they've mostly been neutral, like gray or blue or brown. So I think it would be fun to do a pop of color hat that if I'm wearing a more neutral outfit, such as my blue or brown sweater, it might be fun to have like a pop of red or, you know, just a bright punchy color and a hat. And I was thinking if I use the Christmas red of Cascade 220, that I might be able to just get like one more skein of that and make the Muscle Burrow hat by Ysolda Teague. Is that right? I'm sorry if I'm saying that incorrectly. But the Muscle Burrow hat is really interesting in that it's designed so that you can use a complete skein of something. So if I had a complete skein of the red fingering weight yarn, I could use the whole thing for the hat. And that would be so fun to have that matched the neutral scarf with like the skinny stripe of red and then have a matching hat. So I'm thinking about that as an option too. So those are kind of the projects that are on my mind that have been inspiring me. So quite a few whips to wrap up. One major purchase, but I'm hoping it's worthwhile. If you have knit with the Wandering Flock fluff before, please let me know if it's worth it. I really hope that it's worth it. I absolutely fell in love with the color, so yeah. Let me know in the comments below what you guys are planning on knitting for fall, or if you have kind of a color palette mapped out. I'd love to know how you plan your makes for the upcoming season. It was actually cool enough this morning to wear my brown sweater outside, so fall is definitely approaching. The cooler months are soon to be upon us, and I'm very excited to wear all of my woolly hand knits. I think that's going to be it for today. I hope that you guys are all doing really well, and I will chat with you in the next one very soon. Bye.